So you live in Europe and you want to find the best red light therapy panel for you. Well, it can be a bit confusing. Most of the red light therapy companies out there are based in America and cater towards the American or North American customer. Fortunately though, a lot of these American companies do ship to Europe, and even better than that, there are also companies that are based in Europe. Their warehouse is there, their office is there, they charge in euros, they speak the local languages. So what I've done is I've sorted through a heap of red light therapy products, red light therapy companies. Now be sure to hang around until the end of the video, because what I'm gonna do is find the best panels from the 17 behind me for European customers. But I've also got another panel that isn't here with me that I think may even be better than my recommendations. So let's go. So what I've already done is I've ranked all 17 of these panels across lots of metrics: power, wavelengths, ease of use, company history, what's included in the panel, all sorts of things. This has taken me a lot of time, and to share all the data with you is also going to take a lot of time. The cool thing is you can go over and watch that video. It is my 2024 red light therapy comparison video. I highly recommend watching that before this video. You can pause it and open up in another tab or whatever, come back to this video, because that will give you a good understanding of what a good panel should have, what is available out there, what is rubbish, all that sort of stuff. But if you don't want to do that, here you can see the rankings from 1st through to 17th after doing that rather epic comparison. But before you make a purchase decision based on this data, just remember that was more for the American customer. What we need to do now is narrow this down and find the best panel for the European customer. So first up, let's get rid of the panels from companies that don't ship to the European Union. That means the Red Rush 840 from Red Therapy Co. and the Gimbared Overclocked are both out. All right, cool, so now we're down to 15 panels. Now, I only want to look at red light therapy companies that have a warehouse in the EU. Okay, now there's obvious reasons why I want to do this. Firstly, you're going to get your panel much faster than, say, if it's coming from Los Angeles or New Zealand. Secondly, it means you're not going to pay import duties, VAT, or it gets held up at the border. I know some people in Germany have had a lot of problems getting panels in for some reason. Border control doesn't like red light therapy panels. So it means if you're buying from a company that has a warehouse in the EU, yeah, you're not going to have any of those issues. It's already in your region. Another benefit of this is if there is an issue with the panel, let's say it's defective or damaged during shipping, it's going to be a lot easier returning it, a lot quicker as well. Plus, you're probably going to be protected from local consumer laws. If you're buying a panel from an offshore company, you know, and something goes wrong, it can get a bit tricky if the company's not that credible. Now, what I have done in my comparison video is actually rewarded companies that do have a good standing. They have been around for a long time and are legitimate. So chances are, if a panel has performed really well in my ranking, it is from a legitimate company. Okay, so what companies and what panels do ship from an EU warehouse? Well, we have the Royo Therapy Refine 900. They have a warehouse in France. Next, we have the Mitohacker. This company is based in the Czech Republic, so they have a warehouse there. Then we have Cyto LED with their triplex. This company is based in the Netherlands, so they're shipping out of the Netherlands. Now, there's two special mentions here. I've also included Block Blue Light with their Mega 4.0. Now, this company is actually registered and based in New Zealand. However, they do have warehouses around the world, and they do have a warehouse in the UK. Now, I know the UK isn't part of the EU, but hear me out. Block Blue Light do ship into the EU, and if you as the consumer have to pay any import duties or import fees, Block Blue Light will simply reimburse you the cost. So if it costs you 100 euros to get it in, you just send the email, send the invoice through to Block Blue Light, and they'll refund you that amount, which is pretty cool. At the same time though, it does mean there could be potential delays. You might have to front up with extra money. If there is a return issue, you know, it's not perfect. It's not as good as having an EU-based warehouse, but because they are trying to make it easier for you compared to, say, a company that doesn't have any warehouse in the region, then I have decided to keep them in for this particular round. And the other special mention is a company called Luminos Red. Now, this company is based in Austria. They've been around for a very long time. I've tested and reviewed their tabletop panel, but I didn't have one of their larger panels for my comparison series. Otherwise, they would also be included in my scoring system. But I did want to include them in this video because yeah, they're a European red light therapy company and they are selling red light therapy panels. I just can't say too much about the panel as I haven't really tested it, but still, you should check it out. Speaking of checking panels out, I have actually reviewed all of the other panels I've mentioned so far. Of course, I've included the panel in my comparison series, but I've also done a dedicated review, so you can check that out. I'll put all the links below. And speaking of below, can you go down and hit the like button and subscribe button? Like if you're enjoying this video, subscribe if you want to see more reviews and comparisons like this. And I also need to mention down there are a lot of discount codes and discount links. I am affiliated with most of these companies. All of the companies that are still remaining in this little video, I am affiliated with. That means if you use the discount code, you save, but I get a little bit of money. So just a heads up. Okay, so anyway, now we have 5 companies, 3 that have EU warehouses that I've reviewed. Then we have Block Blue Light with the UK warehouse, and then Luminos Red, who has an EU warehouse, but I haven't reviewed their panel. So now let's apply EU shipping rates. Remember, Mitohacker is a Czech Republic based company, not Mito Red Light, which is based in America. Mitohacker have free shipping to the EU. Cyto LED also have free shipping to the EU. And Luminos Red also have free shipping to the EU. Now remember, these 3 companies are all based in Europe. They're European red light therapy companies. Block Blue Light, on the other hand, to get their mega to an address in Europe, expect to pay about 11 euros. And the Radiotherapy Refined 900, yeah, you're gonna pay a similar amount. It's not a lot, but yeah, you are paying a shipping fee for these 2 panels. All right, so let's summarize all of this. Pretty much we have 5 companies, 5 different panels. 3 of these companies are based in Europe. The other 2, surprisingly enough, are based in New Zealand. All of them, except Block Blue Light, have warehouses in the EU. And of course, we've already talked about the situation with Block Blue Light. And when it comes to shipping, the European-based companies also do free shipping, whereas Radiotherapy and Block Blue Light, you do have to pay a little bit extra. Finally, both the Block Blue Light and the Radiotherapy Refined placed in the top 3 out of 17 panels in my comparison video. The Mitohacker Biohacker, the Cyto LED Triplex, they placed a lot lower down, and of course I didn't have the Luminos Red to test. And also remember, there are other companies out there that do still ship to Europe, so Juve, Platinum LED, Mito Red Light, all of those companies still ship to Europe. You're just going to have to pay a lot for shipping, potentially a lot for import duties, and you could have potential headaches as well. But still, you could consider them, and that's why I included that data earlier on in this video. Anyway, if we just focus on these 5, here are my thoughts. Firstly, I can't really comment much about Luminos Red. I just haven't used their panel. The tabletop panel that I did test, you can check out that review. It is a little bit outdated now, so I'm just gonna rule them out for the sake of this video. When I do get one of their larger panels, I will be doing a review, so be sure to subscribe for that. The Mito Light and the Cyto LED panel are both European companies, both have EU warehouses, free shipping. But out of those 2 panels, the Mitohacker Biohacker was a much better panel. The Mitohacker Biohacker came in at 8th place out of 17 panels with a score of 57.5 points, whereas the Cyto LED came in 15th place with a score of 45 points. The Cyto LED Triplex panel was actually quite old. We're hoping to get a new one from Cyto LED. Of course, as soon as there's news, I'll be sharing it here. But given that the Mitohacker Biohacker panel was so much better in all areas, I'm going to rule out the Cyto LED Triplex. So that leaves 3. The Block Blue Light Mega 4.0, which actually placed 2nd overall in my comparison video. The Radiotherapy Refined 900, which placed 3rd in my comparison video. And then of course the Mitohacker Biohacker. Now, even though the Block Blue Light Mega placed slightly higher than the Radiotherapy, because they don't have an EU warehouse, and there's potentially going to be delays with customs and the back and forths having to pay the import duties and get the reimbursements and all of that. Because of that extra headache, I think we have to rule out the Mega 4.0 for the sake of this video. Remember, we're trying to find the best red light therapy panel for European customers. Okay, so that leaves 2, the Radiotherapy Refined 900 and the Mitohacker Biohacker. Now on paper, if you're just purely looking at specs, features, ease of use, the Radio Refined panel is the better panel. It's wider, it's more powerful, it has more LEDs. It also has some really nice features. You can independently change the power output to every single wavelength rather than the wavelengths being grouped together. You can control each wavelength. That's something we haven't seen before in red light therapy panels. Also, their panel comes preloaded with their smart protocols. So if you want to activate, say, bone health, you can go in and click that, or muscle recovery, you can click that. I really do like this feature, and you can learn more about it in my review. Links are all below. So yes, it is the better panel out of these 2. However, Radiotherapy is a New Zealand company. They're not based in Europe. though they do have their warehouse in France and also one in the UK. And I do know they have a great team and great customer care behind them. However, if you would much prefer dealing with a local company, you know, maybe someone that speaks your language and you just know they're a local, even though Europe is a very big place with a lot of languages, you may be attracted more to the Mito Light Biohacker panel. And even though I've said all those good things about the Royo Refine panel, the Mito Light Biohacker is still a really great panel. It's got a heap of wavelengths, it's got a nice touchscreen control panel, it's got the application, it's got heaps of power, and comes in at a really good price point. And remember, you don't have to pay shipping on the Biohacker like you do with the Royo panel. So really, it's up to you. What I'd highly recommend doing is going over to Light Therapy Insiders, checking out the shopping tool, and filtering for the Royo panel and also the Mito Light panel, and just doing a bit of a head-to-head on paper. And also going off and watching my review for the Royo panel and then the same for the Mito Light. And yeah, just come to your own conclusion. To be honest though, it's hard to go wrong here. They're both really good panels. If I had to choose one out of those two panels, I would go with Royo. It is wider, it does have those nicer features, even if I'm paying a little bit extra for the shipping. But saying that, I am a New Zealander and Royo is a New Zealand company, so maybe there's a bit of a bias there. Who knows? But before you rush off and make a purchase, I do want to mention that there is another panel out there that you should consider. Now, the cool thing is, this panel is also from Mito Light. It's the Mito Light Mitohacker. Feature-wise, it's identical to the Biohacker, however, it's just larger. 400 LEDs instead of the 200 odd LEDs. It's 16 inches wide, which is really, really cool. Of course, though, it is going to come in at a larger price point. Now, if you're wondering, well, why didn't you talk about this earlier? Why isn't it included in my 17 panels that I have behind me? The thing is, I had to set a size requirement. I only looked at panels that had 300 LEDs or less. Otherwise, I'd literally have 50 panels behind me and it would have been a nightmare. But I really do think the larger, more expensive Mitohacker panel is really good. I mean, it's awesome, to be honest. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do a direct head-to-head between the Royo 900 and the Mitohacker panel to help you make that more informed decision. I don't know when that will be out, but be sure to hit the subscribe button. You may want to head over to my Facebook group as well and just ask around in there or search the threads in case you are living in Europe and you want to get some more personal feedback from people. Otherwise though, I have done a review of that Mitohacker. You can see it up here. Highly recommend checking that out. And also be sure to go back and check out the 2024 comparison video.